What's up everyone, Timothy here, aka FML21, and I've made a own league called the Forza's Metronome, abbreviated to FML, and it has nothing to do with the other abbreviation for FML, so that. But yeah, we got our own Metronome League, or at least I got my Metronome League. The premise is pretty simple. You draft a bunch of Pokemon. All the Pokemon can only use one move, called Metronome. And after that letter Chaos command, coaches are able to completely use a Pokemon to its regular capabilities, so all their regular abilities are still active, barring a couple that would make the game a little more enjoyable, I think. So abilities like Pressure that encourage PP stalling, or Regenerator that just almost unkillable are banned. Same goes for Assault Vest. Assault Vest boosts your special defense but doesn't let you click status moves, which Metronome is, so that goes a bit against the spirit of the competition. We have two divisions. We have the Wi-Fi division and the Showdown division. Both are pretty self-explanatory, I think. Wi-Fi is played on the Switch in a Wi-Fi connection, so yeah, basically you have a bit nice visuals, I guess. And the Showdown division, I've decided to split them up because first I wanted to do just the Wi-Fi division, but apparently it is very, at least to me, it is difficult to put in Pokemon that normally don't learn Metronome. So I decided to split my idea up into the Wi-Fi and the Showdown division. The Wi-Fi division is just played on Wi-Fi and all that. The Showdown division is a bit different because the Showdown division is a monotype division. So let's focus on the Showdown division first. Like I said, it is a monotypes division, so you can pick in the first round of drafting not a Pokemon but a typing, and you can only pick Pokemons that have at least one of their typings be your chosen typing. So, for example, if you pick Steel, you can pick up Celesteela because Celesteela is part flying but also part steel. You can pick up something like a Raticate because Raticate is a normal type. Unless you decide that Raticate is your Terra Captain, there is one Pokemon on your team that is allowed to be not the typing that you picked, but the first time they attack, they have to click the Terrestrialization option and Terrestrialize into your typing. So for example, if you are Steel and you picked Raticate for some reason, I don't know, would, but still, Raticate has to Terrestrialize into a Steel type to be lead. Only one Pokemon can be your Terra Captain, and first of all, I did not join the Showdown division because I wanted to compete in the Wi-Fi division and the Showdown division was filled. But during the first round of draft, one of the coaches said he was leaving because he had, on second thought, didn't want to commit to a league or draft in itself, and I decided to jump in after a couple of hours where no one said that they wanted to pick up the spot, so I decided to jump into the Showdown division, and with the 8th pick, 7 types were already gone. Strong typings like Steel and Dark, Ghost, Flying, Water, Bug was already gone. That's a pretty special reason, by the way. And I believe Fairy was and that's all the typings that were gone at that point. So I decided to go for the strongest, in my opinion, typing that there was. Poison! I know what you think. Poison may not be the strongest typing in general. Defensively, it's pretty strong. It only has weaknesses to Psychic and to Ground. Offensively, it doesn't do all that much normally, but there are reasons why I picked Poison, and during my draft recap you'll see why. Because first round, after the typing draft, my first Pokemon that I drafted was Glimmora, aka When is Glimmora? Kind of a nice Infinity War reference for you. Glimmora is a pretty strong Pokemon in this format because it has Toxic Debris. Toxic Debris leaves a layer of Toxic Spikes on the field when Glimmora gets hit by a physical type move. Or contact move, I'm not sure which one of the two, but with only one Pokemon type besides Poison not being able to get poisoned, Steel, Toxic Spikes are very oh no, by the way, Flying are also immune to it because they do not touch the ground. But yeah, besides that, those two, Toxic Debris is a very potent ability. Combining that with a 130 base special attack, this thing can hit like a truck. Defensively it's whatever, and the 4 times ground weakness is mainly annoying because a air balloon is not really reliable. Because Metronome, you don't know what your opponent is gonna get, and the chances are that your air balloon is already popped before a ground type hits it, so yeah. I think Glimmora is a pretty strong contender to be a kill giant in this competition. Mbaku the Grafaiai is my second round pick. All 3 abilities are pretty big, I think, in this format. Prankster giving a priority to use Metronome, which is always great. Unburden, doubling speed, so you can basically, besides priority, go always first after that Unburden boost. And Poison Touch is going to be super valuable because I can poison every non-poison and steel type with contact moves. Combining that with a decent 95 base attack stat and a good speed stat of 110, Grafaiai may not be the tankiest and the bulkiest, but it is going to be very annoying to face off again. Sure. Round 3 was the time I picked up my Terra Captain. Holy cow, the Tapu Bulu. Offensively, 130 base attack is insane. Defensively, it is pretty strong as well. Grassy Surge will reduce damage of Magnitude, Bulldoze and Earthquake, which deals a lot of damage into my team, not gonna lie, so that's already a strong thing to have. But Telepathy is also a great ability to have. If one of my Pokemon gets Earthquake, Surf or any spread move that hits every Pokemon on the field, Tapu Bulu is completely safe with Telepathy. Same goes for Explosion and all that, so yeah. Having Tapu Bulu around is a strong pick for a Terra Captain wave. Besides that, with just the poison weakness, or just the poison typing, it goes down from 5 weaknesses to 2 weaknesses and no 4 times weakness. That's also pretty great. Jean-Claude Van Damme was number 4 on my list. This behemoth of a special wall, 130 HP, 100 special defense, is already very hard to break down. Combining that with Unaware, because setup moves, although random, can snowball out of hand pretty easily. Having an Unaware Pokemon is definitely worth it. Poison Point, also great. Has a 30% chance, I believe, from the top of my head. to poison the opponent if they make contact with their move. And Water Absorb, taking away one of its 4 weaknesses, is always pretty strong. A ground type gives me a electric immunity as well, so always great to have as much immunities into a Metronome League, I think. So yeah, with basically having the ability to have 2 immunities, pretty great. Mukalola, aka Slime Shady. Okay. Also a strong contender to be a unkillable tank. Base 105 HP and 100 special defense. Good luck taking it down from the special side. 75 base defense is workable. With 105 attack, it can deal damage. Poison Touch, like Grafrai, is great, poisoning the opponents. Gluttony is whatever. Basically being forced to eat a berry pretty early. And the Power of Alchemy is I think in this format, underrated ability, because the Power of Alchemy gives Alolan Muck the ability of a fallen companion. So for example, if Tapu Bulu had telepathy and it dies next to a Alolan Muck on the field, Muck gets telepathy. Yeah, there are a couple indications of getting abilities that are going to be a bit broken on Alolan Muck, I think. And I'll show you what in a couple of seconds. But first we go on with this list. After Alolan Muck, I picked up Goldfinger the Hisuian Sneasel. Just act like that microphone thingy isn't there. Offensively strong, with high base speed, decent attack. Main thing I picked it up for was Pickpocket. Once the Hisuian Sneasel used up its item and something makes contact with it, it takes the item of the opponent. Combining that with Tapu Bulu's Grassy Surge and giving it this Grassy Seed, boosting my defenses, already decent special defense, and something makes contact with this and I have another item. Basically, it gets 2 items, which is great. Inner Focus doesn't make sure I don't get intimidated or flinched, and Keen Eye is whatever, not really gonna use it, even though accuracy drops are there. You can switch out. Next up, I Love Land the Venomoth. In terms of stats, it wasn't the greatest, but the abilities again, Shield Dust, Tinted Lens, Wonder Skin are great. Wonder Skin lowers the accuracy of any status moves to 50%, so if you use Thunder Wave into Venomoth, you have a 50-50 chance of missing. Shield Dust just helps your team by negating things like Thunder Wave, I believe, and Tinted Lens is great to give a 50% boost to all not very effective type moves. Basically making them neutral. The Venomoth can always do neutral damage. Great. Typing of Bug and Poison is whatever, I think, but it was a good budget pick for 4 points, so I'm not complaining. I forgot to put in the points each Pokemon was worth. The first 5 Pokemon were 11 points or higher, and Sneasel and Venomoth were 5 and 4, so with only 90 points, I was getting to my limit. Keep it like that. But I saved enough points for my final Pokemon because I knew I could pick it up at the end of the draft. So next up, we have Pepelepew, the Skuntank. Stanch is a pretty interesting ability because it got a 10% chance to flinch your opponent with a move that normally doesn't flinch. At least I think that's pretty interesting. Still, Aftermath is great because 25% damage if you get KO'd by a contact move is still decent. Has decent HP and attack, can be a mixed attacker with 71 base special attack, and most importantly, it's part dark, so it only has the ground weakness, which is amazing. Together with Muck, this has to make sure I do not get KO'd by any psychic type moves, because yeah, those are annoying. Next up, one of the two Pokemon I want to combine with the Alolan Muck, because Haunter gets Levitate, and if Haunter dies next to Alolan Muck, Muck gets Levitate. Muck only has one weakness, ground. Levitate ignores ground type move. Muck does not get hit by any super effective damage. You can see why. Besides that, Haunter is a great offensive Pokemon, 95 base speed, 115 base special attack. It's like a truck. Named it Casper after the friendly ghost. Not gonna be friendly, but it is a ghost. And besides that, 3 immunities is pretty bonkers into this division, or this league, or type of battles or whatever. Combining that with Poison and Bug being quadruple resisted, and that's already a quarter of the types that does not deal great damage in. So yeah, curious to see how Haunter will do. And last but not least, we have Weezing, aka Two-Face, Levitate, Neutralizing Gas, and Stench. First off, Levitate makes it so Weezing only has one weakness in Psychic, but Neutralizing Gas can be great because on the one hand it can help me if Grafaiai faces off against the Dark type and it has Prankster. Neutralizing Gas turns off Prankster and makes it so Grafaiai can hit Dark type Pokemon with Metronome. On the other hand, it can hinder my opponents by blocking their abilities. Yeah, I think Weezing is going to be a great value for this team. And Weezing was my final Pokemon, so that leaves me with this type chart and these stats for my team. Not the greatest stats, but I think my team can definitely put in work against my opponent. So these are the 10 Pokemon that I am able to bring into the Showdown division. But like I said, I was already in the Wi-Fi division, so let's have a look at what I can bring there, shall we? So, for the Wi-Fi division, couple of rule changes because in Wi-Fi the number of Pokemon you can draft with Metronome is pretty limited. I believe the pool is 125 Pokemon big, so the division is a bit smaller with just 8 coaches, and we had a budget of 70 points, so yeah. You had to make every point count, and I think I did make my first pick count at least, because my first pick was Vision, aka the Iron Valiant. This is a pretty clear and on the surface pick. Iron Valiant has great offensive stats, can be a mixed attacker, so it doesn't really matter do I get a physical or special type move. Iron Valiant can hurt your team pretty badly. So Iron Valiant was a great first round pickup, I guess. Besides that, quadruple resistance to Dark Bug type moves, Dragon immunity, Rock, Dark and Fighting are resisted, so yeah, go Valiant. Next up, we have Thor the Thing, or Lady Thor Ace, basically because Tinkaton is always a girl, I believe. Mold Breaker, Own Tempo, Pickpocket. Mold Breaker is great to break through abilities of my opponent. Own Tempo is whatever, but Pickpocket is amazing because just like Hisui and Sneasel, you have a item that gets used up pretty quickly. And you get hit after that, and Pickpocket will take the item of the opponent, basically giving you 2 items. Fairy and Steel is great because look at that type chart. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 resistances, 2 immunities, and just 2 weaknesses. Makes Tinkaton a very hard Pokemon to remove off the field. Hulk, aka Iron Hands. It is a very bulky with a high HP stat Pokemon with an incredibly high attack stat. So basically, pray you click or you get rolled a physical type move and go to town on your opponent because 140 attack is very hard to withstand. His Def is also great with 108 special defense. Yeah, with that high HP stat you can take a couple of special hits, and if I get rolled a special attack, yeah, I'm gonna cry because it's not gonna do much from that 50 base special attack, but still, there are more physical type moves than special type. Go Valiant, or Go Hands. Wanda Maximoff, aka Meloetta, is, I think, a very underrated pick. Mainly because the ability Serene Grace. There are quite a lot of moves with a secondary effect, and Serene Grace will give you that nice double odds of that activation. So if Meloetta rolls Ancient Power, it has a 20% chance of an Omni Boost. With a 600 BST, that's amazing for Meloetta basically. But other moves like Iron Head having a chance to flinch, getting doubled, Charge Beam giving a 70% chance, going up to 140% chance of boosting that special attack. Meloetta can get Wild Woods. Johnny Storm, aka Magmortar. More of a defensive pick, even though it has great special attack and attacking stats. But Flame Body is just an amazing ability. If a Pokemon makes contact, there's a 30% chance Magmortar will burn them. And yeah, having your main way of dealing damage be negated attack is amazing for my team. So Flame Body is going to be coming always over Vital Spirit, I think. Unless I know my opponent doesn't really care about fire type or burns, so yeah, we'll have to see from week to week, but chances are it's going to be Flame. Kingpin, aka Calyrex. Not planning on bringing this guy a lot, even though its stats are all around. The ability Unnerve is great. If my opponent has a berry, it cannot eat the berry. That's it. So yeah, if I expect my opponents to be very heavy in berry use, Calyrex is a good option to bring in the late game and basically block any Leppa berry use or resist berry or super effective berry negation is great. So yeah, Calyrex is going to do something, but it isn't high on my usual to bring list. Unlike Grafaiai, yes, I drafted Grafaiai in both leagues. Also here it's called Mbaku. Yeah, you basically know what it does. Poison Touch, amazing. Prankster, great. Unburdened, decent. Speed Stat, great. Attack, decent. Other stats, whatever. Great Pokemon in a FML, in a Metronome league. So. Bullseye the Inteleon. Not a bulky water type, but a water type nonetheless, so not a lot of super effective types moves that can hit Inteleon. Sniper, boosting the power of random crits. Yeah, this thing can hit very hard with that 125 special attack stats, so let's hope for crits. Oh, come on guys, not... What's that? Give him his normal cry, come on. Okay, I got what I asked for. Electabuzz has the same role as McMortar to fulfill, but with static. Instead of burning, it paralyzes my opponent. Can be a blessing in disguise for them with not using PP on a move when they get paralyzed, but also giving me speed advantage and giving me the chance to knock them out earlier. That's also very useful. So yeah, also a Eviolite user, so can be quite bulky, I guess. And yeah, that rounds out the team. With this team being very ground weak, might have to find a way to work around that, because Air Balloon isn't very viable, but the stats are way better than the other team, especially my physical attack stat is through the roof. Even though my special attack is on the average higher than my attack. Neat. And very fast team, so yeah, really looking forward to go to town with both of these teams. In case or with schedule, or more in terms of upload schedule, on Tuesday I tried to get out all the Showdown games played in the Showdown division. Basically I am going over every one of the Showdown games to show you what happened there. Mainly because in Showdown you can save all the replays and go over them game by game, so that's a pretty easy task. If I have to do that with Wi-Fi, I have to ask everyone to record their battles, and that might be a bit of a chore for some of them. So on Wednesday I'll try to get out my own Wi-Fi game. If Tuesday is very hard for me to get all the Showdown games recap out, I might postpone everything by a day, but you'll notice that in the end. But yeah, that's the plan for the FML. I hope you are looking forward as much as I am looking forward to it, because I think this is going to be a blast. I already played with my team an exhibition match against Stars, and it was a blast. I've laughed my ass off, and it didn't matter if I win or lose. I had a blast playing those games against. You might hear it in my voice that I'm getting all giddy and all because of it. Yeah, it was just amazing fun, and I hope I can recreate that feeling week in, week out in this. But yeah, for now, rest me to say thank you for watching. I hope you have a good one, and I hope to see you all on next Tuesday with all the Showdown games. Yeah, here on the channel. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.